So what is your attitude toward talking heads?
It's just not my thing. I suppose it's not that I wouldn't do it in the future, and I think other people do it really well, but I kind of just I want the audience to feel like they're in the present. With both films, if anyone knew anything about Senna, a lot of people knew that, the ending. Not necessarily in the US, actually. It's one of the kind of major markets where nobody knew the ending, so it was a different experience watching it here. But in the rest of the world, people knew the ending. And with Amy, generally people know the ending. So the idea is to say, okay, that's a given. We're going to end up there. The idea is, how can I make you forget? And how can I make it kind of exciting or dramatic or hope that it goes another way? And the idea to kind of feel like the story's been told in the present. And the big issue that I have for me with Talking Heads is that it takes me out of the present. And I'm then having to start all over again when I go back into... So I just want to get into the story. I want to try and tell the story from the point of view of the central character, not necessarily my opinion of what's going on always. Because I think that's often... A lot of filmmakers put themselves in their movies. And for me, it was this gut instinct to take myself out. I knew I could have put interviews into Senna, but I didn't think it would improve the film. I thought it would have taken away from it. I couldn't interview the main characters is another thing. You know, I don't have Senna, I don't have Amy Winehouse. I have other people's opinions of them. So I always wanted those opinions to be secondary to Senna's own point of view, or in this case, Amy's own point of view. Now, Amy, it was difficult because after her first album, she stopped giving interviews. Around the time of Back to Black, she hardly spoke anymore. So there was a real shortage of actual material from her own voice. And that's when, by not having talking heads, I'm kind of forced to work harder and figure out, well, how am I going to tell the story? And that's when I realized the lyrics were the answer. You know, the lyrics are her voice at her most honest. And if we can structure the story around her writing and her lyrics, then you've always got her voice up front and center.
When did you figure out that actually putting the text up there was a key?
I think it was because I, like many people, you know, I had the records and I knew the songs, but I never really knew what she was singing about. As you do, you know, because it's sung in a jazz style, but also you can't help but get carried away by the music. And then one of the big moments was the film was done with lots of audio interviews, Amy, and I was interviewing her first manager, Nick Szymanski, and there's a point in our quite a long interview, you know, and he starts telling me this story about when he tried to help her, and there's this moment he's describing, and I suddenly go, hold on. You're actually telling me about the moment that she turned into the song Rehab? And he goes, yes. You're the guy who tried to take her to rehab? He goes, yes. And you know, that was a big revelation when I realized, oh, that song is actually her writing about a real incident, and pretty much verbatim, because everyone I've spoken to about that incident says, yeah, it's exactly the way it happened. And what people said is what they said, and she turned that into this song, which becomes a dance record that everyone's dancing to. But, you know, actually, I think it's a cry for help. It becomes a dance track, but actually it's her saying no when she means yes, I think.